Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, California Resources Corporation, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama-Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and the San Luis Obispo County Office of Education, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
We are live today at Amy B. Seibert Elementary with a special episode, Science for Kern Challenge, and we're here to...
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
And I'm Jesus. If you'd like to reach us by telephone, the number in Bakersfield is 636-4357. And if you're in San Luis Obispo, call us toll-free at 1-866-636-6284. You can also reach us by email at dothemath@kern.org or watch us online at dothemath.net. And look for us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right. Now, it's been a little while since you've been here, so I know I was like, hey, get that right down out there. But anyway, welcome back to the program.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
We do enjoy having you on the program. And for folks that aren't familiar with you, why don't you explain once again where you work, kind of what you do?
Sure. I work at the University at Cal State Bakersfield, and I'm in teacher education. So I am responsible for helping train all of the K-8 teachers that are going out into the field to become teachers in schools.
There you go. And we certainly do appreciate you taking a little bit of time to come out and help us out.
Of course.
And once again, our collaboration with the university, we certainly do appreciate
that.
Yes,
it's a strong one.
And just found out, you did today, that at the end of every program, we give away 2 vouchers to a athletic event, any athletic event that you would like to go to for CSUB athletics. And we thank the athletic department to go check that. Wrestling would be the one you would go to right now?
Right there.
They're
wrestling.
In the middle of their season, right? Or has it started?
You know, it's always for wrestling is all year long.
It goes all the time, huh? Well, you know what? We do have a lot of things going on this afternoon. As Jesus let you know, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30 on Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout most of the regular school year. We do have a very special guest in studio. We'll be going back out to Seibert Elementary and checking out Science for Kern with Michelle and see what they're doing this afternoon. But before we get to all of that, let's first take a look at today's Math in the News. All right, so today's Math in the News, I found an article, and it had to do with chocolate. And if Marylou was here, and I know she's watching, she'd be all over that. She's like, oh yeah, anything to do with food or sweets especially, we'll go ahead and do that. But the diagrams that we've got right here, these are overhead shots of various cities. So we can see Portland, San Francisco, New York. Now take a look at Rome, one of the earliest cities, you know, and the way that city is put together now.
Right.
And we've got a couple more here. Paris, everybody's familiar with that famous roundabout right there. And Boston is also pretty much a circular, as far as driving around in that town. Dubai, Atlanta, that looks like LA down there, kind of right there, huh? Sacramento. Nice and spread out, huh? I wonder what part of Sacramento that is right there. And then Osaka right there. But I threw those in there because these are used to make this. And this is a gourmet chocolate square. And you can have one done of whatever city you would like. So according to My Modern Met, Tamtic Chocolate has partnered with online retailer to make these edible maps. So it would be a beautiful gift. Somebody's moving to a new city or something. Hey, find your way around here. You did good.
I could eat a whole
So
city.
you go and eat the whole city, right? And anyway, what they do is they pour the chocolate into the mold. And what they do is they go ahead and they sell them like that. The cost of those, I wasn't able to find out, nor was I inquisitive that much, because I'm sure they're not on the lower end. So anyway, so I found those and I was like, all right, those are pretty cool, but now let's apply some math to it, which is where our boy Euler comes in. And we're all familiar with the 7 bridges of Königsberg problem. So there was this problem, and a lot of students, I would venture to say probably 5th to 8th grade, at some point we'll see this problem. And then what Euler did is proved logically that you can cross every bridge once and only once based on the number of vertices you have and the number of bridges, I guess you would have, something like that. But let's learn a little bit more about Euler. Was one of the great mathematicians in history. Not only did he produce outstanding mathematics, he produced it at an outrageous rate, publishing more than any other single mathematician before or after him. If quality of output multiplied by quantity of output is equal to greatness, Euler is the greatest mathematician ever. So that was pretty remarkable. When I found that, I go, we have to put that in there, because everybody's like, who's the greatest mathematician ever? Well, if we take a look at the body of work as far as quantity and quality that he had, Euler is by far our greatest mathematician ever. And that is today's Math in the News. All started with city streets, and then bring it on to chocolate and Euler and networks and how that all works. And one of the occupations that a lot of people are always talking about is delivery people. So you have a lot of deliveries, you need to go out, well, you need to find the most efficient route so you're not going over the same streets a bunch of times and things like that. Anyway, in studio with us right now we have Itzyan. How are you today?
Good.
Why don't you let everybody know where you go to school and what grade you're in?
I go to school at Buena Vista Elementary, and I'm in 6th grade.
Home of the Bulldogs, correct? And you're in 6th grade, and how long have you been at Buena Vista?
I've been at Buena Vista since 1st grade.
Since 1st grade? All right, so you're pretty used to things at Buena Vista. 6th grade, and that means next year you'll be going to a junior high school. So what do you think will be one thing you'll miss about elementary school?
Well, at Buena Vista we have the edible schoolyard, so I'm going to miss that a lot.
So you take part in that? Does every student do that, or is that something that only certain students are able to do?
Every student of every grade does it, but it depends on, like, for example, kindergarten is younger, so they visit like 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
1st grade visits like 4 or 6 times, and it keeps on going up.
Okay.
And for us, we go 2 weeks, and then we have a break. We go 2 weeks, and then we have a break.
Okay. And you've been there, has it been there all 6 years you've been there? And what do they make the 6th graders do? Go out every day and weed everything and make you guys work hard on that? No, I'm only kidding you. So the edible garden is something that you guys enjoy out at Buena Vista.
Yeah.
I had an opportunity because I think in the springtime you guys have an open house.
Yes.
Where the public is invited. So I went out to that last year, and it is mighty impressive. I can tell you that. It's quite a variety out there. They show you what the students work on. They've got a working area, a kitchen that the kids work in.
Yeah.
And then I was able to purchase food that they made there. So I'd have to say that you helped the old man gain a little belly right there. So we're going to put you to work right now, but we're not going to have you working in a garden. We're going to have you work on an equation right now. So why don't you head on over to the board with Jesus, and I'll give you guys a fairly simple one, because I know you're just starting to learn equations. All right? So we have 6, open parentheses, x plus 2, close parentheses, minus 4x is equal to 48. And Itzyan, if you want to go ahead and explain and do that to Jesus, and if you need some help, he's right there.
I'm writing it out.
So since there's parentheses, it would be 6 times x, which would equal 6x, plus 2, so it would be 6 times 2 is 12, so plus 12. And then we would drop down to minus 4x, and then equals 48.
Okay.
And then we're gonna do the x's.
Great. Our like
So-
terms.
So then we're gonna do it. So this one's a positive and this one's a negative. So it's gonna be 2x plus 12 equals 48.
Okay. And let me just drop this down a little so they can see. Okay, give you some writing space. Keep going.
So, and then we want to get the 12 by itself, so we would cancel it out by doing that. Then we would put minus 12 over here. So 48 minus 12 would be 36. So 36, and then put the 2x down.
And we have an equal sign here also.
Yeah.
Good, because those are still equal to each other. And I'll drop it down a little bit more for you so you can.
Then we need to get the x by itself, so we would divide this by 2, and if you do divide it by 2 for this one, you also have to do it with this one.
Nicely said.
So the x would come down, and x equals 36 divided by 2 would be 20.
Do you want to do the division off to the side?
Yeah.
Sure. You put your 36 in your, yeah.
Two goes into 16. Yeah, it goes in 8 times. 8 times. So be 0.
So 2 goes into
18.
36.
So 2 goes into 36 18 times.
18 times.
So it would be x equals 18.
18. Okay, and we
There you
always,
go.
I like to put a box around our answer to show, because all this work, it helps it stand out. Yeah.
Nicely done right there. Well done, Izzy. All right, 636-4357 is the phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30, but right now we're going to go check out Seibert Elementary and Science for Kern.
We are live today at Seibert Elementary School, and I have a special guest today. I have Michelle Roy with Science for Kern, who we have another exciting challenge going on. We had one last month, right?
Yes, we did.
Which was a lot of fun. And it was like a boat where they had to put 50 pennies.
50 pennies on a foil boat.
And they had to make it float.
And it had to hold all 50 pennies and float.
Wow. Can you kind of give us again a little bit of background about Science for Kern, what it's all about?
Yes. Science for Kern is a free mobile lending library sponsored by Chevron. And we have 9 science units that 4th and 5th grade teachers all over Kern County can check out. I deliver the materials. They're all stocked and ready to go. They come with a teacher's manual. And I teach demo lessons in classrooms for teachers. Work with kiddos all over the county.
And love it.
And love it.
And so today we have another engineering challenge.
We do.
And why don't you take it away and let everybody know what we're doing?
Today we have Felicity Frog. And Felicity Frog's pond has been taken over by alligators. So we need to build a tower today to keep Felicity Frog safe. And so our parameters today are the tower has to be 10 centimeters tall, and it has to be 10 inches tall, and hold Felicity Frog up for 10 seconds.
Now, can it be smaller?
No, 10 inches exactly. And we have our materials today. We have the students can use 100 index cards. They can cut the cards, fold the cards, roll the cards. They have tape to use if they wish. And they've got their ruler to measure their 10 centimeters. We've talked about strategies for rolling the card or cutting and stacking. We talked about building playing card towers and how that strategy might be helpful today. And we'll be editing and revising as we go along.
All right.
Go for it. All right, so students, are you ready?
Yes.
You ready to accept the Science for Kern Engineering Challenge?
Yes.
All right, let's start our discussions then. Planning your strategies for building your tower, and then you can start building. All right, let's go.
I think we can roll it, fold it. We should roll it. If we roll it, it's kind of like better. Or we could just what we could do is roll it and then put.
Could you do some rolling and some folding?
Yeah.
Yes. You don't have to use the same strategy for the whole tower. So
Well, how would it stand up?
what are we thinking about here?
We're thinking about rolling it and stacking it apart.
Okay, so do all the cards have to be rolled if you choose rolling as a strategy? Would you roll all the cards, or could you have some rolled and some folded?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, you can use a variety of strategies for your cards if you find that to be successful.
We're gonna put all of our things, all of our ideas together, and so that way it'll be long ways, and it'll still hold Felicity the frog up, and even though if she does fall down, she'll still be safe and get caught.
Well, I'm very interested to see if this works out. All right, good luck to you.
And then put like a paper under it, like that. Oh, like this. And do that again. How about like this? We should make it like this.
Like we make six big. We make six of those, and we put it like at the bottom for like the base, and we start doing that idea with the circle and then the paper.
Extra? Yeah. Okay.
How many cards do you each get?
We got 10. We got 10, so we can try out like what do we want to do, like a short one, and then let's see if we can combine it together.
Okay.
So let's start. Okay. Oh wait, flip it over. Let's put it in the middle, and so everybody can see. Okay, so I think I'm gonna roll it. What are you doing, Priscilla?
Okay, while they are working on their strategies and trying to figure out practicing what's going to work best, we're going to be going back to the studio, and then in between you could check us out live on Facebook to kind of come back in to see what they have been working on. So we're going to send you guys back to the studio now.
All right, thanks for that, Mary Lou. We will see how that progresses in just a few moments. 636-4357 is that phone number. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. Itzyan will be doing some more work, but first we're going to go to the phones and speak with Morgan. How are you today?
Good.
And you are a 6th grade student, correct? Mm-hmm. All right, as soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
Okay. So Mrs. Bennett has graded 20% of her 150 students' papers. How many papers does she still need to finish grading?
Okay, so I'm going to write down just a few of the details. You said that she's graded 20% of the 150 papers.
Mm-hmm.
How many more does she need to grade? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay,
I can
so
tell you 80% of the 150.
okay, yeah, sure. So what we need to do is, first of all, figure out what is 20% of 150 papers. That will then give us an idea so we could say, okay, if we know how many she's already graded, we could just subtract it from 150 papers. You agree?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so what I would start to do is I'd like to make some kind of proportion setting up this. Now, when I look at 20%, I think of 20% as being 20 out of 100. Do you agree that that can be represented as 20%?
Yes.
Okay, so what I need to do is to say this is 20 out of 100, and on the other side I have to kind of keep in that same form. So I know that there's a total of 150 papers. What I don't know is how many papers she has, but I do know that 20% out of 100 is going to be this amount. So do you see what I've done so far?
Yes.
Okay, now what I would say is if we were to like cross multiply this, so we could actually solve, instead of using this question mark, I'm actually going to put a variable. Are you familiar with seeing letters in your homework?
Yeah.
So variable x just stands for an unknown. We don't know what it stands for. I also like canceling or simplifying this 20%. So 20 out of 100 is the same as 2 out of 10. It'll just make our math easier. Are you okay with that step?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just go and multiply 2 times 150. So I'm thinking of 150 twice, or doubled. Do you know what 150 doubled is? Think of it like 15 plus 15 and just add zeros behind it. So 150.
300?
300, perfect. A little mental math there, huh? And now 10 times x is just going to be what I write down. I'm going to say this is 10 times some unknown mystery number. So when I put 10x, I'm just saying 10 times x. All right? Now what we have to do is say, I want to know 10 times some number that's going to give me 300. So what would I multiply by 10 that would give me 300 is really the question here. Do you want to try and take a guess at what I can multiply 10 by that would give me 300?
30?
Yeah, so if I said that, let's just start off to the side. 10 times 30, you know that that is 300. So I know that it's 10 times 30, so the letter X is equal to 30. So what we've just identified here is 20% of 150 is 30. So if we know that there is 30 papers that she's graded, I'm going to write down 30 papers graded. What I need to now ask is, how many more does she have left? Remembering that she started with 150 papers. So the way I'm going to find that is I have to actually subtract 30 from 150. So if I have 150 papers total, and I've already graded 20% of them, which was 30 papers, right? Do you want to do that math for me? 150 minus 30?
120.
That is correct. So that means she has 120 papers left to grade. Nice job.
Nicely done, Morgan. Thank you for that phone call right there. And do remember, if you have some more homework problems, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30. 636-4357 is the phone number. In San Luis Obispo County, the phone number is toll free at 1-866-636-6284. If you phone in from San Luis Obispo and anywhere in that county, and we do one of your math problems, you'll automatically receive yourself some free Doc Bernstein's ice cream, and that is some delicious ice cream right
Go
there.
there every time I can.
You've been there?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome over there. Do you have a favorite that you always kind of check out when you're there? Or
The peanut butter, anything with peanut butter in it is perfect for me.
You know what? I am much the same right there. I'm always right on that first one, and then it's like, all right, what have you got new that I can try out? But always got to try the peanut butter one first. We're going to put Itzyan back to work in a little bit, but we'll be back with more right after this. Today we're in Ridgecrest. We're at Las Flores Elementary School, and today we're here to Las Flores Elementary School, and I've got Kyla, a fourth grade student. How are you?
Good.
You ready?
Yes.
Take a look at this. What's going on?
Okay.
What can you tell me about this so far? What's up there?
So we are going to be
We're going to be adding something?
yes,
What else?
timesing and minusing.
There you go. So we've got a lot of operations we're going to be doing here.
Yes.
So this is going to be up to you how difficult or easy this problem is going to be, because you're going to put numbers in there. I'll put some in too. All right. So choose a number between, let's say, 3 and 9.
4.
4, put it anywhere you like. All right. And I will choose another number. How old are you?
I'm 9.
You're 9? I'm going to put a 9 right there.
Okay.
Pick another number.
3.
Put it anywhere you like. How many people live in your family altogether in your house?
6.
I will put the 6 right there. You get to choose the last number. Make it a good one.
8.
8? Why do you select 8?
Because that is one of my favorite numbers.
One of your favorite numbers?
Yes.
All right. Well, you know what? There are some places where 8 is actually very lucky. And you can read about that later on, all right? You find out why is 8 lucky. All right? That'll be your assignment during the week. Okay? So what we need to do is we need to evaluate this right now. So the first thing we want to do is, have you heard of the order of operations before?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember what comes first or how this goes?
No.
Okay. Well, the first thing is P for parentheses. So we do whatever's in the parentheses first. So do we have any parentheses here?
Yes.
Where are they? Not that whole thing, right? But there's more than one thing to do in there. So if there's more than one thing to do, we'll multiply and divide first. Is there any multiplication or division in there?
There is multiplication.
Okay. And what is it?
6 times 9.
And what is that?
44.
Close. 54.
54.
54. So how about, I'll make the parentheses again. And inside we'll put whatever you're coming up with. So this was 54, so let's put a 54 there. And what do we have to do with the 54 now that we've done this?
Add 3.
Okay, so put add 3 in there. And bring all of this down. Bring everything else that is here, just rewrite it again. Right. So now, let's finish up the parentheses. What do we have?
We have 54 plus 3.
And what is that?
That is 57.
There you go. So go ahead underneath. So put those together and put it underneath. Okay, so now let's rewrite the problem. So bring this down.
So, hold on.
Good. So right now, what do we have? What's the whole thing we have to work with?
4 plus 8 minus 57.
Okay, so now we have gotten rid of the parentheses.
Yes.
We had no exponents in this problem. Have we done all multiplication and division?
Yes.
Yes. So now we add and subtract going from left to right. So what is the first thing we have to do now?
We have to add these two together.
All right, so go ahead and add them together.
8.
And then bring down the rest of the problem. So now we have 12 minus 57.
And you can't do that.
Well, we can do it,
Well, yeah.
but it won't turn out to be a positive number, right?
Yes.
So when you saw that, you said, we can't do that. Why did you think that at first?
Because you can't, this way, you can't do it 12 minus 57.
Because you'd end
Right.
up with a negative number, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you were thinking about. I mean, we can do it, but we're just going to end up with a negative because the 57 is the larger value, so we know
Yes.
it's going to be negative.
Yes.
So instead of going 12 minus 57 and doing it that way, can you think of another way that might be easier?
57 minus 12.
Yeah, try that. Go ahead and work it out on the side if you need to, or if you can just do it in your head, whatever.
So 7 minus 2 is 5.
Right?
Then 5 minus 1 is 4.
Perfect.
So,
So we know that this is
45.
all going to be 45.
Yes.
But is it going to be positive or negative? Because which had the bigger value?
That is
So what is the final answer going to be?
negative
Negative.
45.
So go ahead and write that down there. Perfect. Can you think of anything that would be negative 45 in real life? If you were digging a hole
Yes.
and you went down 45 inches, would you be negative 45 from the ground? It would be down 45 inches, wouldn't it?
Yes.
That'd be negative, right?
Yes.
And let's say you planted something and it grew 45 inches from the ground. Would that be positive 45 or negative?
Positive.
Positive. All right, so there's your positive and negative. You came up with that problem, solved it all, nicely done. There you go, Kyla. And once again, a big thanks to the staff and students at Las Flores School. We had a wonderful time working with the students out there. Hey, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30, but right now we're going to check out the progress at Seibert Elementary and Science for Kern.
We are back live at Seibert Elementary School with the ACES After School program. And again, I'm with Michelle Roy with Science for Current Engineering Challenge. And we got a lot of talking going on.
We have some major activity going on.
Oh my gosh. You know what I really love best about this? Walking around, every single table has a different strategy, but every student is involved. And they all they weren't given jobs. No. They just decided upon themselves what they were going to do.
Yes, and we have some excellent 21st century learning collaboration going on in this room this afternoon.
We do. Why don't you take us around the table?
Lots of trial and error.
And so we could show everybody what they're doing.
You bet. Let's start over here. So, girls.
Yes.
What strategies are we using here to build our tower for Felicity?
We're using everybody's strategy, and this is gonna be our base, and this is Felicity's chair.
Okay, so what are you planning to do? This is going to be your base, right? Okay, so what's going to come next then to get it up to 10 inches?
We're gonna do this, and then we're just gonna put the chair on top. And then we're gonna repeat it, and then we're gonna put circles on it with ink.
Okay, so explain the repeat it part again. I'm not quite sure I understand.
Once we get this on that, we're gonna make more of these and stack them like on top of it and repeat it like that.
Okay, and what do we have going here?
We're gonna put that right there, and then when we're done repeating this, we're gonna put it on top and Felicity on top of the chair.
Oh, that's like Felicity's throne. We're gonna have Queen Felicity then at the end
Wait,
in her tower. You want to test her? Well, that is a perfect chair. So now we just need to go up. We need to work on building our elevation for Felicity. Oh, Felicity has a crown. How sweet. All right, so good luck, ladies. Keep working. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about what you have going on here and why you think what you've got constructed there so far is going to work all the way up to 10 inches.
And we're just kind of making it as thick as possible so it can stay stable. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you mean by thick?
Like as big, like width-wise. Wide.
Okay, so
We make like rolls of two, and we put a like another one inside, and we put tape around the two so we can put it on like this, and tape it to the other paper, and keep going.
So why do you think this strategy is going to hold Felicity Frog for 10 seconds when you get it up to 10 inches?
It's really stable, and the roller, like Felicity the Frog and the roller, you can't tell the difference that much. And
Excellent. All right. So what height are we looking at right now? How many inches do we have so far?
Let's see, about around 6 inches.
Okay.
So almost 6 inches.
Are you going to repeat the same, another layer of what you've got going there?
yeah, and if it's too big, then we could cut like the top of it, and we could like thin it down to 10 inches.
Okay. Excellent thinking, guys and gals. Keep it up. All right. So what do we have going here, ladies?
I'm trying to do the top, and they're doing half of the middle, and all three of them are doing half the middle.
It's gonna be a little bit like in the top-ish, bottom-ish.
Oh, this is going to be in the middle? Or so this is the middle. Where's the base? What's your bottom?
They're doing the base.
Okay, this is the base. What is that base going to look like, though? I am not quite sure I get what's going on.
It's going to be square around, and there's going to be this in the middle.
Okay, so is this going to sit here, or is it going to go up here? What are you guys thinking?
We're making more, so we're making more so it can stand out.
Making more what?
Making more squares.
Oh, okay. More squares, and then this will go on top?
No, I think this is gonna go on top. And I'm trying to figure out the top, how to do the top right now, and because we're going to need the top to be flat. And I gave all of us amount of 10 cards, but if we need some, they're right here.
Okay. So it sounds like you guys are doing a great job working as a team and collaborating. You're going to bring all your individual ideas together to make your 10-inch tower. I'll be back with Felicity.
We're also cutting things too.
Okay.
She sits on that.
Absolutely. Uh-oh. Whoops. But could you modify or revise what you've done so far?
Yeah.
Change that in some way so that it will hold her?
So, Deanna and Priscilla, those two right there, they made these squares, and so to revise it, I can make like a little block and like put it right here, you know.
All right. So you want to build that, and then I'll come back with the frog and test it?
Okay, so there's so much going on. We still have one more group working, but when we come back, we're going to be testing the towers, correct?
Yes. Hopefully when we come back, we'll have towers that are 10 inches tall, and we can place Felicity on top, and she'll sit happily for 10 seconds.
All right, we'll check us back in a little bit to see how they're coming along. Back to the studio.
All right, thanks for that. We will see how that 10 seconds goes. I'm sure some kids will be holding their breath for that 10 seconds to see how that works. Anyway, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30 on most Tuesdays and Wednesdays throughout the regular school year. Right now, we'll go back to the phones. Fernando, how are you today? Hello, Fernando.
Hello.
And you're a 6th grade student, correct?
Yes.
All right, as soon as you're ready, let's hear the math problem that you're working on.
Okay. The problem is Mr. Yoshi has 75 papers. He graded 60 papers and he had a student teacher grade the rest. What percent of the papers did each person grade?
Okay, I'm writing this, Fernando. Give me 1 second. I'm going to ask you some questions about it as we can start working on this. There was 75 papers total?
Yeah.
And he graded how many?
60.
60 papers he graded. He graded 60 papers. Now, tell me the rest of the problem again.
Excuse me?
Tell me the rest of the problem. After he graded 60 of those 75 papers, what else was there? Give me the other information.
A student teacher graded the rest of the papers. What percent of the papers did each person grade?
Okay, so if a student teacher graded the rest of the papers, he graded 60, and there's a total of 75. Do you know how much the student helper graded?
15.
Say that one more time, a little bit louder.
15.
15, perfect. So the student helper graded 15. All right, I think we have everything that we need. You need to find out what percentage did each of the people grade, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is write a ratio, and a ratio is nothing more than a comparison, like a fraction. So I want to know how many papers. Let's start with the teacher. I'm going to put a letter T that says the letter for the teacher. Now the teacher graded how many papers?
60.
Out of how many total?
75.
Okay, so do you see this fraction I'm making is 60 out of 75. That's the fraction that we're going to start with. Now what I want to know is, if we can simplify this fraction, then we can slowly try to find out, because our ultimate goal here is to find out what percentage. What we want to find out, let me erase that and write, we want to find out what percent did the teacher grade. And we'll start with him, and then we can go into the student helper afterwards. But let's try to simplify this fraction, 60 over 75. Well, when I look at fractions and I know I have to simplify them, I look at the last number in the ones place, and I say, okay, 0 and 5, those are the numbers in the ones place. 0 and 5 both can be divided by 5. The rule for 5s are, if it ends in a 0 or a 5, you can divide both of these by 5. So I'm going to say, let's divide both of these numbers by 5. So now I have to ask, how many 5s go into 60? Do you know how many 5s will go into 60? 5 times some number will give me 60? 12, perfect. So if I have that number, now I'm thinking 75. Well, if I keep counting by 5s at 12 and count a couple more up, 3 more will give me 15. So 75 divided by 5 is 15. Not bad. We can even simplify this even more. So 12 over 15 is my new fraction that needs to be simplified again. I know that these both can be divided by 3. So 12 divided by 3 gives me, how many 3? Yeah, 3 goes into 12 4 times. And 3 goes into 15
5 times.
5 times. Perfect. Now, this is the last thing that we needed. What we did was we took our fraction 60 over 75 and we made it into a fraction in simplest form, which is 4 over 5. Now, to find out how to get this as a percentage, what I want to do is actually divide. And I'm going to say 5 goes into 4, but I need to find the decimal version of it because a decimal can change into a fraction, or into a percentage really easily. So 5 goes into 4 0 times, but 5 goes into 40. Do you know how many 5s go into 40? Whoa, what happened there?
8.
Hey, you got rid of your problem.
Okay,
Let's
maybe.
see if I can.
There it
you
is.
go.
Okay, it goes into it 8 times. Thank you. We had a little problem at the studio. We're good. So yeah, you're right. 5 times 8 is 40, and when I subtract that, I'll just finish the rest of this math and say 5 goes into 0. Do you see? I got 4 over 5 as a fraction changes into the decimal as 80 hundredths or 8 tenths. Well, 80 over 100 is the same as 80%. So let me just show you what we did. We started off with a fraction, 60 over 75, and we simplified it to get, in simplest form, 4/5, which we then saw changes into the decimal 0.80. And we know that 0.80 or 80 hundredths is the same as 80%. Now, I could do the same exact thing with the student helper and show that's 15 over 75, but I think there's an easier method. If I know that there's 100% of this work, that means all 75 papers is 100% of this work, and the teacher did 80% of the work, how much work is left over for the student helper to have to do?
20%.
That's right. Where did you get that number 20%?
Because 80 plus 20 equals 100.
Exactly. So I know, just by using a little bit of information about the first problem, that 80% plus another 20% gives me the total 100. So I know that that teacher or the student helper actually did 20% of the work for us. So it makes sense to actually kind of think about that and just use a little bit of reasoning. If I know that one person did 80%, the other person had to have done 20%. Perfect. Nice job, Fernando.
There you go. Nicely done right there. And you now have your name entered into a drawing for 2 tickets to any athletic event at CSUB. So we'll be drawing that name at the end of the program. Speaking of winners, you're also a winner today. Did you know that? You will be going to Johnny Rockets and enjoying a free meal courtesy of Lydia and all of her staff over at Johnny Rockets. So congratulations on that. Maybe you can go after the show and get yourself fed right there, or go out for a special holiday or something like that. All right. And you know what? Because you now have a meal coming, we're going to put you to work again. Are you ready? All right. Back to the board. Let's get you back to work.
Okay,
So let's take a look at the problem that Itzyan is working on. This is right out of his math book. Mallory is on a budget, and who isn't, and wants to determine which cereal is a better buy. 10 ounces of cereal costs $2.79. So 10 ounces are $2.79.
Okay.
And 13 ounces are $3.99. The question is, what box of cereal should Mallory buy?
All right. The big problem when you're at the store and you're looking at 2 different boxes, you always go to the unit rate. That's how you figure it out. So do you want to look at this and kind of come up with an idea of how to solve this? You want to talk me through it a little bit before you start writing anything down? Let's kind of reason some of this idea.
I was thinking that we can start off with dividing 10 by that.
Okay, so I want to find out how much, well, what is the cost of 1 ounce, right? By doing some simple division, I can find out how much are the unit cost of just 1 ounce of cereal. And the same would be true with 13 ounces, right? Okay.
Okay, so 10 can go into 2, so it would go into 27. It would go twice.
Good.
So 10 would go into 39 3 times. So it would be 30.
And I'll move it down some for you, so give me 1 second. So you can, there you go, give me a little space.
So 39 minus 30 would be 9.
Good.
Then we would add a 0,
Sure.
because you can add as many zeros after the decimal.
You sure can.
So we would bring down the 0. So 10 goes into 9, goes into 99 times.
Perfect. And I'll drop it down a little bit more for you. How about that? Give me one second. There you go.
So that's how much, that would be how much 1 ounce costs.
And what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and just put a dollar sign in front of it so we know that this is about 24 cents, because that 9 thousandths, we'll just round it over and say, hey, that's about 24 cents. Yeah, 24 cents for an ounce. Okay. So we have a unit rate on 1. So we'll go over here off to the side, and you want to do this in red? Let's swap colors real quick. So grab this pen and just write down that this is 24 cents right here on the top, next to this first price. And you want to put a little, yeah. There, perfect. Okay, so now we have a unit rate for the first one. Let's go and find the unit rate for 13. And what I'll do is I'll drop this down, and so it was $3.99 and 13 ounces. So I'll move it. You good over on that side? You want to try that? Okay.
13.
And it was $3.99, yeah.
$3.99.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. You have some decimals there. Okay.
So 13 can go into 3, so 13 can go into 39.
Mm-hmm.
So 13 goes into 39. So 13 times 2 would be 26.
Mm-hmm.
26 plus 13 would be 39.
39 works out perfectly for us.
So it would go in 3 times. So this would equal 0. You would bring down the 9.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and bring our decimal up as well on the dollar. Yeah, let's bring it up so we know that's 30. Okay, perfect.
So we would add a 0 then, because 13 can go into 9.
Okay.
So we would bring down a 0. So, and 13 goes into 90.
Okay, so what we did first was we said 13 times 3, which is 39, and we had a 0, and then you brought down the 9. The next step would be 13 goes into 9, 0 times. So we had to put a 0 here, above, right here. So what you did was, before we brought this one down, let's actually move this off to the side. Right here is what you did. You brought the 9 down.
Yeah.
How many 13s go into 9?
A 0 times.
So you'll go up and put a 0 there. Perfect. Now you can actually, I love these computers, we can actually just put the numbers back. Perfect. So how many 13s go into 90 now? Now I don't know if we really even need to go any further on that one, because let me ask you, what you're looking at right there is 30 cents, right?
Yeah.
The question was simply asking which is the better deal. So let's just go ahead and put 30 cents right there. If it was 30 cents or about 30 cents, we'll make that pennies, right? Okay, so which one is the better deal? If I'm looking at this box, it's hard to tell by the sizes, but when you look at the unit rate, this is 24 cents for 1 ounce. This is 30 cents for 1 ounce.
So that one would have been better.
Right, so buying the smaller box would be the better price.
All right, nicely
Perfect
done
job,
on that.
Izzy.
Leave all of your work right there,
All
and
right.
you guys are going to stay right there for a minute.
Perfect.
Don't get rid of any of that work, because we need to take a look at something real quick.
Go for it.
But before we do that, we're going to take a look out at Seibert Elementary and what they're doing with Science for Kern. It looks as though they're working on their towers right now, and there's a group. It looks as though they've got a pretty stable base. Looks as though that probably about 10 inches high right there. And it looks as though that will be able to hold Felicity, I think that's what the frog's name was, for 10 seconds. So nice to see the collaboration going on right there with the students at Seibert Elementary and Science for Kern. And we'll check in with those guys in just a couple of moments. One thing we need to do is let's look at the first one you guys did with the 279.
Right.
Bring that screen up a little bit where he was doing the division. All right, so Izzy, what we saw is when you put the 2 and you brought the 0 over, you went 7 minus 0 was 3. Because I think you were thinking of 10 minus 7 is 3, but when we bring the 7 down, instead of it a 3, it should be a 7 right there.
Right here.
So
Okay.
let's erase all of that.
Just on the bottom here, we can do
Right,
that with
so
our
let's
hand.
just erase that stuff. There you go, perfect.
Catch. Okay, and I'll get that for you. Here you
And
go.
get rid of the,
Oh.
you leave that, but get rid of the, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You might just have to erase that part.
Yeah, we'll use the fine pen. Good catch.
And I think
Let's
it's
go
still
on
going to
the
work
top.
out to that box, but we want to find out what that price actually was.
Okay, so we'll leave this part right here because you were correct when you put the 2 there because it was 20. Now what he's saying is 7 minus 0 is 7, and go from there. Perfect catch.
So it would equal 79. 10 goes into 79 7 times. So it would be 70. Then it would be 9. Bring down the 0. Now we would add the 9.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So we see that this is 27 cents and 9 thousandths, which would be 28 cents roughly. Now, does that change our answer? Does that change the way we're looking at our problem over here?
Yeah.
Let's go and erase, well, let's do that. Just kick it off to the side somewhere. And go ahead and write the new answer in there.
I like that way of
Yeah,
eliminating
just
it.
get everything out of the way. You want to write, yeah, go ahead and tell us.
28 cents.
28 cents right there, right? Perfect. Now, which is the better deal?
Still
the same
that
one, yeah. But good catch, Mike. On
Still that one right there. But the reason I bring that up is because that's very important for the next part of the problem.
Oh.
And we can look at that by revealing the lovely Do the Math pencils that we had made up. So we had Do the Math pencils with phone numbers on there. And all of the students at the schools that we visit are receiving these when we go out and about. And we'll hook everybody up. Whoever wants one, give us a call. We'll send you out one. Anyway,
Do some math.
the reason I bring that up is because what is the difference between the 2 unit prices? Okay. That's why we needed to know the price on it. So Itzyan, figure out the difference between the 2 unit prices now.
So take a second and look over here. What are the unit
28
prices?
and 30.
Okay, and we approximated, and I'm not certain if that's going to make a difference on your actual answer for the homework because it was 0.279 and the other one was 0.30.
And I think just rounding it the way you guys did was fine.
Fair enough. Okay, so you have the 2 numbers in your memory, 28 cents and 30 cents, and go ahead and just show us the difference. What does the difference mean to you when you hear the word difference?
It means like what's left after you subtract.
Perfect. Okay, so you're going to take your 2 unit rates, which was
30 and 28 cents.
and
Then we would get 2 cents.
so give me a nice complete sentence. What is your answer?
The answer would be that the difference rate between the 2 cereals are 2 cents.
2 cents. Very nice. Good job,
There
Izzy.
you go. Well done. Hey, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon, but for our final time, let's head on out to Seibert Elementary and Science for Kern.
We are back live at Seibert Elementary School, and I'm with Michelle Roy from Science for Kern Engineering Challenge, and the excitement in the room is intense.
It is so intense. It's building.
And now when we first started, it was all quiet and strategizing and talking. And then when we came back our next segment, it was a little bit louder. But the minute we started counting down,
Yeah, we're coming down to the end of things, and we have a couple of groups that are really close to making that 10 inches for 10 seconds.
and so now is the time we're going to find out if Felicity.
If their tower will support Felicity for 10 seconds.
All right, let's check it
See
out.
how it goes. This group here seems to have to be the furthest along. All right, so guys, go ahead and take a measurement. Take your final height measurement, and let's see what that looks like. All right. All right. Do we have our 10 inch there? We are. We're so close. We're going to let that count because if we don't smash them together, it is pretty close to 10 inches, right? So excellent. Who wants to do the honors?
No.
Let's do the big test. Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Okay.
Don't
Ready?
move the
Count
table.
off.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Woo, very good. Felicity is safe from the alligators. You succeeded in the engineering challenge. Congratulations. And you did a fabulous job of working together as a team. And I think that was part of your success today. Excellent work. All right, so let's go to this group over here. All right, so would you guys like to explain a little about your design?
So once we saw the rules, we thought this would be a strong sturdy if we layered it. So we layered it 4, and then we put 2 columns, put 4. Then since we were kind of in a rush right here, we used the rest to layer it, and then we put this, and it.
So what are we measuring out at?
It's right here in the center, just about 10 inches.
All right, so are we ready to test?
Yes.
Who's gonna do the honors?
Me. I guess he's gonna do the honors.
Yeah, you did most
And
of
then
the
as soon as Felicity goes on, we're gonna count to 10. Ready?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right. Once again, Felicity is safe from the alligator.
Yeah, I'm an alligator.
Well done. Oh, we have some alligators down there in the pond. And some little decorations. All right, excellent. Creativity counts. Points for creativity. All right, so ladies, what do we have going on here? Are we ready for the final test?
No.
No?
No.
All right, let's measure.
No.
Oh, dear. It's okay. Let's go up here. All right. Can we fix the base? Let's.
I don't know.
All right.
Does she have to sit on top of the tower or she can be next to it?
Say that again?
Does she have to be on top of the tower?
She does have to be up top because she's got to be, remember, 10 inches above the pond of alligators.
Wait, how did the alligators even get in her pond?
I don't know.
But you're the one that knows.
They came in from the neighboring pond because they were hungry.
Oh my God.
All right, so measure while we're waiting, and she's stabilizing your tower. Are we at 10 centimeters? I have a feeling
we passed it, I think.
How are we doing that?
We passed.
You're pretty close. So let's go ahead and test.
Okay,
Would you like to test? Who's going to test?
Me. Somebody hold it. I'm going to tell Shyla, do the honors. Yep, I do the honors. Froggy Frog, don't break my tower.
All right.
Our tower, Shyla.
Oh, no.
She's going to collapse on the floor.
Are we going to be able to test?
Oh, does she have to sit down because she lay down?
You know, I'll leave that up to you. No, she doesn't have to sit. If you can get her to stay up there.
Try laying her on her stomach. Oh, like her belly? No, has everybody else gone already?
2 groups have been successful.
What about them? Can we tape her down?
No, we cannot tape her off. All right.
She gonna break it?
Okay. I'm gonna let you guys keep working there.
I don't know what we're doing.
We're gonna make it over here to our other group. All right, ladies. What height are we sitting at right now?
We need about 2 seconds.
Okay. Ready to do the big final test on camera? Oops, flip your ruler over. Measure from 1. Turn it over. There you go.
We're at 7.5.
7.5 inches.
Plus that.
Now, let's put that on and then we'll see if at your height it will work. Even though we're not quite there yet, let's go ahead and, there's more. 10. All right, there you go. Let's try it.
We have had so much fun here today. This was a blast. Thank you to the Science for Current Engineering Challenge. Another fabulous day. And thank you to Seibert. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, kids. You were great.
And it's been great. Back to you at the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Marylou. And I know that Itzyan noticed that Isaiah, one of the students in his gate classroom, was there. So that's pretty cool. Find out who's going to the CSUB athletic event from the students that phoned in this afternoon.
Fernando.
Fernando, there you go. Congratulations, 6th grader from Lum. You get to head out to CSUB, and until we meet again, continue to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, California Resources Corporation, Kern Schools Federal Credit Union, Panama-Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, and the San Luis Obispo County Office of Education, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.